Well, hello there. Hi, I am Kathy Crow here at the Crow Cottage, and I just was sort of taken aback because as I started this up, the picture went crazy. And anyway, I'm glad to see I'm facing the right direction. At least I hope I am. And I hope you're having it has just started pouring outside, like pouring out there. And I'm happy for my garden getting some nice watering. My husband keeps reminding me every time I say garden that I'm landscaping. Yes, I'm just landscaping, not actually gardening. Back where we came from in Washington State, I removed all the grass. It took me about 20 years, but I'd removed all the grass from our yard and truly had a garden all around our house. And here I vowed not to do that. So I am resisting. But every time I add a new little planting pocket, I get accused of gardening again, but it's not. It is not. And then I slip and say gardening because I'm modified gardening. Okay, it's modified. I've learned enough now to not plant things too labor intensive. Although I'm finding that here in Missouri, things that weren't labor intensive in the Tri-Cities might be here. And I'm thinking of the roses. Everything else is really easy, but roses are a little more problematic here. All right, now my computer just went to screensaver, so it's gonna take me a while. I'll have to find, oh man, like really? Okay, we're back. Today is gonna be odd. I am going to mostly just do backgrounds with you today because I realized as I went through the cards that I had planned, these are the ones we were going to do. All of the images are all retired. I did expect, now this Beach Day one isn't, so I might do it. I got it out. I did get out all the stamp sets that can be done, but mainly what you would want to know anyway is how I'm doing these backgrounds. That's the kind of questions that I've gotten whenever I display cards like this, is what order are you doing things and how are you doing it? And it's actually, this is one of the easiest ways you can layer a card, but you do have to think of a few things. So we're going to just talk about that. I'm going to make some, I'm not sure what our cards are going to look like because I'm not going to do, I got these sets out so you can see what they are if you want to order them on eBay or someplace like that from some demonstrator. I don't sell my stamps because I keep them and I make cards like this. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I sold my stamps. So I have an abundance of things that I can use for backgrounds because this is just a minimum of what I have. Most demonstrators have a ton. And then at some point in time, they decide they don't want to store any more things and they start to purge. And once you've decided to get rid of things, you kind of have to do it a lot. And I never got into this business to do that. I actually just like making cards. It's a fun thing for me. This is more hobby than anything. And God's really blessed me through it because I think you and we are a blessing to other people. And that's why God has blessed me so much. It's a good way to get the word out there that God is your Savior. And we are so grateful to Jesus Christ for coming into our hearts and changing them so that we can be a blessing to others. All right, so today I do want to also talk about the online exclusives. Now for demonstrators, if you are a hobby demonstrator or you would like to be one, our join special just ended, so this is not the best time to join, but you can join anytime you want. If you do want to join it, we would love to have you part of our team, but I want to let people know who are already demonstrators that we do have a pre-order coming up. And that's one reason you want to be a demonstrator, is you get to order things before they go to public, because once they go public, it's like instant almost, and a lot of things are gone and discontinued. So since I think I tend to like the things that are super popular, they always are gone right away, and that frustrated me so much I just decided I am just going to be a demonstrator. And then I'll never have to experience that again. It does still happen once in a while where I want to order something and it's already discontinued, but it doesn't happen as often as it used to. So That is very, very good because I really do like doing this, but I always like to add new things. So today's stamps that we're going to be using, these are I listed some of the things that I'm probably not going to use all of these, but I listed some substitutes in case that you're interested in seeing some ways to make really simple backgrounds, because some of the stamps that we really enjoy making or using, like this is a host set that was last year's hostess set. If you hosted a party, that'd be the only way you could order this. You either could order it in the pre-order when you were if you are a demonstrator. That's the other thing about it, is that unless you're a demonstrator, you're not even able to order these things unless you have your own order that's $150 or more, or a party that's more than that. Then you get to order the host set. Now I don't think we even have any host sets in the catalog now, because Stampin' Up! Has decided to do things a bit differently. So now this is not even an issue anymore about host set, but that used to be one of the things that made me decide that I wanted to be a demonstrator, so that I could order this as an order rather than having to have a party or a big order. I could order it with a smaller amount. But this one has this is what I would call landscape kind of art stamps in it. Now let me see if I can make this. I'm not sure why. My camera must be tilted some, and that's kind of funny because I didn't think that it was, but it just seems to be. All right, so anyway, why? There we go. Okay. So we had a dock set also, and that I actually put tape on my desk so that my board would be in alignment better with how I can fix my camera. And I still am playing with it. It's my evil fussy nature to do that. So I pulled out all the old sets that I would be using. Now, this one is a new one, actually, this Choose Happy. It has the words Choose Happy, and they're separate, and I have been using that a ton. It has all these separate words. They're very simple font, but it has the season, summer, Easter, spring, autumn, winter, and the word healing. It has oh joy. It just has a lot of things I might use. The word fall, which you could use in a lot of ways. Life, love, dreams. I mean, these are words you could use in a whole lot of ways. And then the images are really cute. So I thought this was if you didn't have a lot of sentiment type stamps, this is one that would be a great first purchase for you. And it is available. It's not in this list because I don't know for sure I'll even use it. I don't even know if I'm going to be getting to the actual sentiment part of our stamping experiment today, because actually what we're going to be doing a lot of is I'm still adjusting, sorry, a lot of sponging and background making. I just want to show you what my thoughts are on that. Now, obviously I am no expert, so please be advised to check in on a lot of different people's ideas for this, because you can never find too many stampers and different ways of doing things, and it's very useful to just find the things that work for you. So I used this by the dock. I knew I wanted my family. Where's that family? Oh, I didn't even get the family out. That was from a different set. Oh my goodness. I don't remember what this family is from. Oh, that's funny, because I thought the family was discontinued, but now I'm not even remembering what the family group was from, and I don't see them on. I've got my little people stamps right behind me, so I thought maybe I could find them really quickly. We don't have a ton of them. Why are Why is this one so hard for me to find? I don't know why, but I'm not finding it. We do have a bunch of, you know, different people, but I'm for some reason not seeing this one. But when you have different, let me grab one just so you'll have an idea what I'm talking about. I'm going to take out this beside me. This is one that, you know, you're going to see a whole lot of. And I was sure it was in that Common Quiet set. And it's not. Funny. Okay, I thought they were. But anyway, here's some people. Oftentimes, I don't know why Stampin' Up! Is doing them all facing away from the basically picture, but they have been. And believe me, I'm sure many of us have commented on that and are tired of it. There's some that aren't, but most of them are. But they do make it really easy to make them looking at a scene. So in that way, I enjoyed that. But I wanted to use this couple. And as you can see, the orientation and the size of the images are quite different. So I couldn't just use the dock that came with this Common Quiet. It has this nice chair and all. And so I was able to use that dock and the chair, but I knew I wanted to use, I guess I used the same dock for this. Now these kids and these people came with a different stamp set because these people were going to be too big for this dock. They definitely would have been too big for this dock. I don't think I put any people on this dock when I made this set. I did a lot of things with this set. This was probably from 4 years ago or so, but I never put people on them because I just didn't at the time have small enough people. Like these aren't even really the right size to put on them. You know, when you're working with stamps, you have to have them be the size. If you are doing digital cards, you can resize things. But I'm going to tell you this, making things this way is not only is it more fun, you can get better pictures of things. So anyway, there's a lot of really great things you can do with digital that you can't do with stamps. But I far prefer getting a card like these that are stamped and have layers and you can see somebody actually colored it rather than it being a printer, because you're going to be very limited in what kinds of colors and how vivid the colors are and just all kinds of artistic things with texture, and there's just so much you can't do on a digital screen to make cards. So with the beach set, I really wanted this background cliffs. In fact, I bought this cliff set just for this beach, this beach day set. So beach day is available, but unfortunately for everyone who didn't buy it, Cliffs by the Ocean was a very short-lived one. But I could see by the background size of these cliffs that this was a set that I'd be able to use a ton of. We always are having new seaside, you know, sets, new sea-themed sets, and that's just one that I knew I would want to have on hand for a long time. Where did I put Beach Day? There you are, right there. Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't lose you. So we're going to do this card, but I probably am not going to do Cliffs by the Ocean because I want to do something that you've already got or can get. But I am going to talk about really quick all the things that you can, these are the kinds of stamps you want to accumulate and keep. So oceanfront, these are all and these are all background type stamps, and they're discontinued. They were only available for a short time, and you're going to reuse them over and over. Rocks, water, grass, little sandy type stuff. Hills of Tuscany is also one that was a 1 year off deal. Tiny little house, sun, clouds that can be all kinds of things. This is similar to our waterfront and snowfront stamp sets that we had quite a long time ago, the mountain air one. where there are images that are meant for grass, but you could use them for a lot of different ground or clouds or trees or all kinds of things. So that is a very versatile one. This one's a super goodie but oldie. It came with this Friendly Silhouettes dies. Again, has grasses, has other things. I think the dies I moved out because I used them so much. I needed them to be handier somewhere else. So anyway, those are some of the sets that I've used in the past. I don't think I'm going to use them, but I kind of got them out because I oftentimes need some kind of water or sand image, and I don't want to be trying to sponge it and all that because I'm not that good at it. From Our Home is a new stamp set. I think we might use this, in fact, with the Beach Day. Now, one thing I do when I am looking to see whether a stamp set is in the same, what do I want to say? If the sizing is going to match, it's especially easy if any of them are photopolymer. Like the Beach Day ones are wonderful because you've got water dyes. So the dyes also are useful for backgrounds. You've got this hill kind of dye. It also is a curvy dye, which is always handy to find. You've got grass and palm leaves. You've got a clamshell that's awfully cute, and oh boy, that little sandcastle is so fun too. But you can take your stamps, put them right up against your other stamps, and see whether you think they are going to work. Because you see, these stamps are not these stamps. These are smaller images. Usually, sometimes they're larger. Stampin' Up! Has to do that because we have so many cheap, inferior knockoffs that are illegal. So please do not buy those. They are, if you do, you better not let us know about it because I'm not going to be happy about it. Those are, again, they are cheap knockoffs, and it's who knows what kind of labor they're using. So you do not want to be doing that. But those stamps, because they are illegal knockoffs, they steal Stampin' Up's image as soon as they get a whiff of it, and then they market it, but they oftentimes are making stamps exactly that size. And the reason they are inferior is because you will not get a good impression with many of them. Now, some of them you do, but most of them you're not going to get as good of an impression. They're not going to last as long. They're flimsy, and anyway. Take your I'm off of that soapbox. You can listen again. So look at the house. This house would make a great background for this. But of course, your houses are not going to want to be right in the water. So you just have to think about things like that. But you can maybe position, if you wanted a background. I was thinking maybe today I might do a city background, like this is a city beach. In California, when we go down there, we love to visit our family. And my husband grew up in Orange County, so he has fond memories of the beach. He loves going to the beach. I don't mind going to the beach. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't so much. It just depends on the day and how nice it is and whether I get sand in weird places. And in a rental car, you never want it. But I think this is be nice because there's some beautiful beaches. I do like the beach thing. We go to Hermosa Beach because Hermosa Beach, which if you know Spanish at all, Hermosa is pretty, I think. It is a pretty beach. It's beautiful and it's really nice. Now we also have this Under the Moon set. This does not have dies with it, but I bet I've got a punch that's the same size or a die that's similar, which is going to be helpful. It's almost impossible to cut a good circle fussy cutting. I've tried. I'm pretty good at fussy cutting, but a circle's it's rough. I don't do it unless I have to. And I wouldn't like what I came up with. So I will find a die that's going to be close. It can be a little smaller, but I will want to use a punch or a die to cut these out. Because I don't think there were dies with this. Anyway, this is a great background set. The Delicate Forest also is a great background set. It has this wonderful frame of greenery. and these little edgelets that are going to be really cute around a card. I've done this set already. It has these labels with it too that I haven't moved out yet. When this set is no longer current, I'm going to move these 2 labels to my little packet of dies that I can find the exact size die I want. When I did that, that really did make a difference. It's easier to cut out sentiment dies, you know, labels that fit my sentiment. Loveliest Tree is so pretty. It's not a, you know, big deal kind of set. There's only a few dies. It's pretty inexpensive. In fact, do I have it here? I don't even have it listed here. But this is going to be a really pretty one. I haven't used it yet, so if I use it today, it'll be for the first time. But I do love this tree because it's a good, again, I can't get enough trees, and that's because I like having a variety of background and foreground trees. If you have trees or bushes, you're going to want to use those a lot in various things, and like this is a nice big one. It's a silhouette, so I might have a harder time using it, but I could with this. So I have this would be my foreground tree, and this would be my background tree. Okay, so I've talked a lot about how you want to accumulate stamps that are going to give you a variety of sizes of different kinds of background objects that you're going to like trees and grass, hills, mountains, sky, stuff. And then to be able to use your object stamps like this, whether they're animals or people or things, it's nice to have something to put behind it. Now, Stampin' Up! Sells tons of nice designer series paper. That's the DSP. That is great background paper. But I tend to not want to use it a lot, and partly it's just because it looks like everybody else's card. You can make different cards when you are not using that DSP. Otherwise, they all tend to start looking the same. If you use your own backgrounds, believe me, yours is going to be unique. And if you don't like what you're doing, just keep working at it. You're going to get better at it. This one, I used Hills of Tuscany. In fact, did I write? Yeah, I wrote my sticky note what I used. Oh, In My Heart. That's what these people are from. In My Heart. Let me find you. Maybe you're not in the people category. No, you are. There you are. Oh, yes. In My Heart not only had these cute people in it, they also, it had this wonderful, tiny little weeping tree that I really liked. I knew that kind of weeping tree is going to be a nice frame over a bunch of stuff. It did not have any dies with it, so I knew I was going to be fussy cutting everything out. I can't right now just type it in to see if it's an online thing. Some of our stamps that went to the old retired thing, you know, went online for a little while until they sold them all. But no, this one's not available. I'm not seeing it here. So that one also is not available anymore. But I did really like it because of the little dog. Isn't he cute? And the boy reading a book is like one of my favorite kinds of things because our kids love to read. We are readers. I am anyway. Jeff actually kind of is now too. More so now that he's retired and has time to do it. But yeah, I knew I'd like that because I want to always encourage people to read, especially kids. So I have that one. I don't think I put him in any of these, though, did I? Isn't that funny? I don't know that I've used him yet. Maybe I did. I forgot it. But anyhow, so the kids and these people are all from In My Heart. I probably have that listed in the newsletter. It was in my list of products for all of these cards, but because it's retired, Stampin' Up! Will have removed it now. So if you go to my card, when you are in my newsletter and you click on it and like there's almost nothing listed, well, that's because everything, unfortunately, I had in my card is all retired now. Sadly, I thought some of these things would come back because I had to do these. I had to get that newsletter ready like a long time ago when I knew I was going to be out of town. And so I used things that I thought, at least Hills of Tuscany, I thought was going to come back, and it didn't. So I was sad about that. So I used In My Heart, Calm and Quiet. Oh, and On the Horizon, guys. That's what these are, On the Horizon. And I didn't pull that over to show you. All right, so now we're finished talking about what kinds of stamps you want to be adding to your collection that you don't want to sell, to keep a variety of backgrounds for your stamps so that when you buy a new stamp set, brand new, you will want to keep using it. Because one of the complaints I hear from people who have been stamping a long time is that it is fun to stamp, but they get tired of buying something and then never using it again. And one of the reasons that never happens to me is because I have so many background stamps that I can put with this brand new one. And all I have to do, if I feel like I'm a little faded on one because I've done it a bit, when I start looking at my background ones, I like get all excited about it again because I think, oh wow, I could do this and I could do that. Something so different that I never would have thought of, except for that I kept my old stamps. Now this one, the only one who fit was the little girl. She was pretty cute with her little dog on the beach. I love that. So anyway, so I think we might do this one. Again, we're going to do something different with the background. I'm not going to be using any water in today's background, that's for sure. But let's talk now about how to assemble a heavily layered card and how do you start with the first things. Well, I don't think about color too much. Unless you're using DSP, I don't think about color until I'm getting near the end. And then I look at my thing and think, well, which are the colors I want to bring out, and then that's going to be my matte, and that's going to be some of the highlighted colors that I add in at the end that because I don't think about color. Now you're going to want to do things maybe differently than me. Everybody's creative genius is slightly different, so go with what works for you. But figure out if you want your sky to be dark or light. If you want it to be a light and not a nighttime sky, then just get some white cardstock. This is our Stampin' Up! Basic white. I cut a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch piece. And I've got a whole bunch over here because I suspect we're going to be sponging quite a bit. So I don't do a lot of nighttime skies. Just because it takes a ton of ink. I get tons of ink all over my hands. And for me, if I'm going to do a nighttime sky, I'll probably just start with a dark cardstock, like a dark blue or a black even, and work up from that and then layer stuff. But if you want to stamp, you've got to start with very vanilla or white or a very light pool party or something like that. But in this case, this is my kind of more of a monocolor kind of card. This one, I knew I was going to end up with a ton of green. I also knew, because I was going to put this "You Inspire Me" word, I wanted the sun coming down brightly into it. So I don't know if I started with white. I might have started with very vanilla on this one because I was using a lot of yellow and green, so I knew that would be fine. But if you want a bright sky, start with white. So we're going to start with that. You want to do your sky and your ground color first. And think about how you're going to design your images. Since I'm thinking of having this be my main image, I know I'm going to have brown down here as the ground. I'm going to have blue up here as the sky. And if I'm going to be putting in these villages, let me find my village. If I put in these villages, I can cut these out. So I can just sponge and not worry because I'm going to fussy cut and place. However, if you're going to want to stamp a tree and you're not going to fussy cut it out, you've got to stamp it and do a mask of it on a sticky note. So just take your sticky note, stamp your image on it. Use a bigger one if you have to. Stamp your image. You're going to have to fussy cut that one out. Save it if you're doing that. Place it on your card where you want it, and then you can sponge all around it, remove it, and you've got that image placed. I never do that. Because since I'm going to cut it out anyway, I always just plan on stamping it separate and sticking it on. That's what I did with these people. I didn't even raise them because I didn't really want them to look like they were as close as this tree. So I just glued them flat on. But they are easy to fussy cut out, so I did that. The cliff, of course, I had to stamp that. But that's brown and green, so I was able to just sponge my sky in. And then still color brown and green on it, and it looks fine, right? This one, I knew I was going to have blue in the middle and green around. So what I did is I just did some blue and then stamped and then did my green with my sponge where I knew I was going to be stamping things. This one was a little more problematic just because I knew I wanted yellow. So I did pool party over the whole entire thing. And then I stamped in my green images. And then I added in some more pool party to make more sky up here in my yellows. And then after that, I stamped the tree and colored it because the leaves are up here with pool party and green. I was able to just color over it. Okay, so you just have to think about how you're doing. Of course, the people were, I put dimensionals under them. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to do Beach Day and From Our Home. Now, I don't have From Our Home over here, but I do have Beach Day. It's not a bundle anymore, so you've missed the 10% discount on it. But you can still get the dies and the stamps separate, and believe me, you want to. They're really, really nice. And I think for me, I've been using a lot of boho blue. Is boho blue a color still? Like, here's balmy blue. Balmy blue, boho blue. You know, to me, it doesn't matter. When Seaside Spray was a color that we had, I used a lot of that. Okay, so we still have boho blue, and I'm not seeing balmy blue at all. So, oh, we do have balmy blue. So pool party would be fine too, because pool party is actually going to be kind of green, but I'm going to stick with the blue. So we'll go with balmy blue, and we're just going to sponge in the sky, and let's do it really lightly. This is where your glass mat comes in really handy, because you can kind of get rid of some of the ink on it, and you can pick it back up too. So it's not like you've just totally lost all of that ink that you just rubbed up there. And since I'm using a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card, I already know I'm going to get rid of all of these edges. You know, when I go to trim it up to put it on my card. So I don't care if my edge is a little dark. It's fine. I'm just going to be cutting those off. So that's a pretty good background for my sky. I don't need it to be a half of the card. You only want it to be about 1/3 of your card. And if you're doing green, it's fine to go down into it. If you're doing brown, if it's a light brown, you're going to want to be a little more careful. Now, I'm not putting a sun in this one unless I fussy cut that sun out, which was probably foolish of me because I might want to do the sun. And I'm really enjoying the little sun in this Choose Happy. This sun is like the perfect size for every single card I go to do. But we do still have bright skies available, and I bet you there's a good sun in that one too. And because I'm pretty sure it has like everything. Bright skies has suns, it has clouds, it has everything. So probably it would be absolutely fine. And you know what? I think I lost my little towel I had in here to dry my board off when I have to clean it off, which is kind of odd because now I'm having to use a tissue. All right. Now, I want sand. So I think I'm going to go, oh boy, this is a hard one because I really like crumb cake, but I've been enjoying our beige a lot. Our basic beige is a new one. Let's see how it looks. I don't think I've done my sand with it yet. So let's check it out and see. Let me make sure I'm getting the right brush. I think I want my brown brush. I've got a brown/orange brush kind of here. And let's see how it looks. It's pretty light, so I think this might be fine for the top. I am seeing some green, and I don't know if that's because I'm pulling some blue in here. There might be enough blue, you know, some green there that I'm getting a bit of green. So I don't want any green. So, that is looking a little greenish. So our basic beige is beige, but you're going to want to be careful because it obviously has some green undertones on that one. So I'm going to go back to Crumb Cake. Crumb Cake definitely does not have that. And I'm not going to wash any of my brushes, so I'm just going to make sure I use this side and not get any of that green in my Crumb Cake. This is going to be quite dark now, so let's be a little careful. And I'm not even going to do the whole thing because I'm going to want to see what's going on here before I get too carried away. Because I do really like that little beach, the little beach scene sand castle is really cute. And I think I'd kind of like to show you how you can add some really cool sand without having to actually add sand. There's a really great video that our Erica Serwin did that she added sand, and I've got that saved. But when I was thinking about adding sand to my beach cards, because I've got some beach cards here, I'm going to get these up pretty quick. These are my Seaside Wishes. You're going to really like them. There's a whole, I've got a whole pile of them. I haven't put them together yet, but they're coming. Like, let me find one that has some sand on it. Okay. So, you can add like some little sand that's not going to rub off, but real sand is really cool. So if you want to do that, it takes a little more dry time than what I did because I just ended up embossing to get that. Okay, where did I put my, there it is. So we'll put the sun up here. I've got some brown here now that I'm going to want to cover because that's in pretty far. So that's probably not going to get cut off. All right. Now these have dies for everything, so I can just stamp all of those images and not worry about those. But these are my background, so I definitely am going to want this. Let me see which direction my beach thing's going, because here's my die. So I want my housing is going to be here. And our, we're going to have to put this guy like way down here. Okay? To have room to have my housing. So we can actually have housing pretty far across here. Okay? Now, again, I can cut these out pretty easy. And then that way I can color my houses whatever color I want. And I don't have to worry about making them darker than this blue. I really like that one. I think that's the house I would want. We could put that one on the point maybe. If there was a point, that would be cool. So I think what I'm going to do, since I don't really know what I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and just stamp my houses separate, and we're going to fussy cut them out and then just see what happens. So this is from our home. That is a set that's available, and it has some really nice little sentiments too. So let's put our houses on here and see how many we're going to get and how far down I'm going to need to go. And then take your die again, is what's going to cut out your image, and position it so you can kind of get an idea of what you want and how you're going to want this. And if this is even going to work, it actually is going to work really well to have it all the way across if I want to. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that. Let's see what happens. So I think we talked about the online exclusives are coming at June 5 for demonstrators. And then that tells me, I think in July, those are going to be available to customers. And you know what's in one of them? Do you know? You're going to want one of them anyway, because there's this cute Halloween set that's coming. Very cute. it has a friendly looking crow. Not very many crows look friendly. And now that I know more about crows, I'm not surprised because they're really not all that nice. But since crow is our last name, I'm kind of partial to crow stuff. So I'm going to just do 2 of those. I think that'll be plenty. And then we still have room to put that other house on there. So I am definitely getting that Halloween set. That is going to be nice to have a friendly crow. I used to have like a little friendly crow that's kind of close actually to what their image is. And I think I lost it. I put it on the back of a bunch of cards before I got my Kathy Crow's Cards circular stamp that I've been using now for the backs of all of my cards. And I can't find it. I don't know what happened to it, but it was a crow that was cawing, and I'm not thrilled with that either. This one that's coming out with a Halloween set, he is not crowing. He looks friendlier than most crows do in, you know, whatever. Okay, now this is where you're going to want to think about your colors. So I'm probably going to want to go with a, since I got beige there, I might actually want to use our beige for my background. Let's look and see what I think about that. So here's our beige. I do. This is going to be a nice beachy color, this balmy blue with the beige. So since that's what I'm doing, I'm going to want to do something maybe, you know, I don't want to go too muted, but if I do any houses a wild color, they're going to have to be like one, because I don't want, when you see beach houses, usually only one of those is going to be kind of wildly colored. All right, so let's think about this. I'm going to want to have looks like a street front, so we're going to keep that as a street front, and that's how it would be, is like a boardwalk. So we're going to want that to be a gray, sandy type color. And then we've got our trees is the only greenery in it. I'm going to cut right around the houses. And then just think about your favorite beach that you go to. What kinds of colors do you see in the housing there? Sometimes there's yellows. There's one down in Hermosa Beach that's a really pretty yellow. We're going to do one as a lemon lolly. I think I'll put my camera down here so you can see what I'm coloring today more. Okay, so we're gonna do a very little bit of coloring. There's not actually going to be a whole lot. It's kind of detailed. Hopefully I can do this without taking too terribly long, because these houses they're kind of detailed, aren't they? I mean, look at them. Like, there's so many lines here. Since I haven't colored these before, I'm at a little bit of a loss to know how much of this to do. So since yellow's a light color, I'm going to just kind of go over it all. And then if I decide that later I want to add some detail with all of these panes, there's like a lot of little panels here. If I want to add more detail to the coloring, I can easily go over yellow, and you can use your markers and go over almost any color to get, you know, these little individual colors to come out. I think for now we're going to just go with your basic yellow for everything on that. And I think we'll even do the stair banner there. Okay, one there. Let's do another one over here. This house has some odd, this looks like siding here. So we'll go ahead and do the siding like that. This one's got some peculiar looking siding on there. I'm not sure. The worst part with all these lines is accidentally coloring over the window, because you can't uncolor the window very easily. So I'm trying to be a little careful about that. Other than that, I'm not, this is not
I think I would use this for the majority of it, but your markers are going to come in pretty handy here, but they're going to have to be very light. Maybe even pencils would be better. Oh man, there's a little window or door down here. This is so cool. I see a little pot. This is a very cute set. You're going to be able to go crazy on that one. Okay, that's enough yellow. And that was dark lemon lolly. And let's see, what other color? We want something like if I'm going to do anything pink, it's going to have to be peach pie. Something peachy, or petal pink would be maybe even better. Because I don't really want it to be too orangey. So let's do petal pink. And see how that turns out over here. Pink, it's fairly pink. That's okay, we're gonna live with it. It's a little bit, I think I would rather have a beige. So if you have a beige pencil or pen, in fact, if I get my pencil out, I could probably fix that. But we're gonna just do pink, petal pink for now. Because I think I don't want to compete with my beach scene too much. And I did not stamp, I should have stamped my lighthouse. Or I mean my Coast Guard station. I should have, we're going to want to do this in a super light, like weather-beaten blue. You want it to look like it's been out there on the beach for a while. We're going to do that, just one of those. I'm not sure I like that one so much. Let's see what else we've got. I'm going to want to stick to my lighter colors. What do we have? It's very, very pale. You know, it's going to be hard to find a good pale pink or red. That's just probably not going to happen. And I don't want a red house particularly. So let's get out our soft sea foam. That is very green. So let's see how that looks. Oops, let's do the bullet tip. There's no way I can make it work otherwise. Ah, very good. Okay, so this is soft sea foam is going to be a good green to use here. Okay. We went to a play on Saturday night. It was really good. The local little Springfield theater. The theater's in Landers Theater, and it was beautiful. We'd never been there before, so it was a real treat for us just to even see the building. It was so nice. And then they have a little, I think we're going to do this house with this. And then if I use this house, we're going to be all set. This one has enough of a facade that I can actually do some shading on this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and do dark green. This is, again, soft sea foam. And we're going to color most of this house with this color. Okay, and then I'll come back and try to figure out what's what as far as the detailing of it all goes. I do see some windows in there, but I don't want to take the time to examine it too much. Then you can take your soft sea foam, that's the light one, and try to lighten up some of that here and there. It's looking dark, so my dark sea foam, yeah, I think you're not darker than my light, so we're gonna go ahead and just recover. That's so funny. I'll have to use my dark to lighten up my light, apparently. If it's actually lighter, it will lighten it up. Let's see if it is. No, it's not. It looks like the same color to me. Isn't that funny? Okay, so we're going to give that up for now because I'm not going to turn this into a coloring lesson. So we've got those two, and we need some browns. Like I'm telling you, I need a beige. So let's look at our browns and see what we've got. We've got numbered ones that are pretty light, and I bet you I can find... A lot of times I use a Copic pen at this point. Ivory is a really good light brown. So let's try ivory and see how you look. That's good. In fact, we'll probably use a lot of this ivory for the roofing. Again, use your blending pens, and you won't have weird lines in your coloring. And then if you actually want to change the color, the hue a little bit, you can use pencils over it, and it does that really nicely. I just buy extra Copic pens myself. Okay, we're gonna do this color here and here and here and here and here and here and here. Now I think for our sidewalk we're gonna add some brown in here. Like that. When I fussy cut out, I'm going to want to come down underneath and leave plenty for fussy cutting out. Okay, and then I'm going to use something else under that. This is bronze, you know, to gray out the edges a bit. But our bronze is pretty dark, so I'm not going to want my roof line to be all that, because otherwise it'll just cover up too much of the detailing, but it can be some of it. I'm getting it a little crooked. I know, because I'd have to have my head right over it for this to be perfect. So you'll have to live with the imperfections today. All right, I hear my stomach growling kind of oddly. We had a church picnic too this weekend. Boy, we were all active all over the place, Jeff and I. This weekend. Oh, that bullet point is way too fat for that tree. Okay, so now my ivory is going to smear around the bronze I just laid on that roof to a much nicer dark brown roof, but not so dark that I can't see any of the detailing. But I think with those other roof lines, we're going to go with tile. Okay, we'll want some nice clay tile. All right, clay tile coming up, but let's look for a light, very light brown first. I still am not finding it. So there's 500 and 200, 300. I'm not finding my colors very easily here. Where's 200? And there should be a 1,000. They must be in a different container, because I'm not seeing them here. Grab my ivory now. And while I'm here, let's take out our granite. Excuse me. Aha, 1,000. There you are. Okay. And copper clay. So copper clay is going to work really well for giving us a nice clay tile. So let's do dark copper clay. Now we don't really have tile shingles here, but we're going to fake it. Because they would be curved, you know. So I'm just I'm faking it here. When we go and look at the beach houses, they've got most of them have tile roofs. Because if you're wealthy enough to own a beach or rent it to people who are renting it, if you're wealthy enough for that, you can afford a nice tile roof. At least that is my assumption. I'm not talking about lakeside. I'm talking about ocean side beach stuff. I don't know. Do they have lifeguard stuff at at the lake? I don't know that I've seen a lot of lifeguard stations at a lakeside. Maybe. There's 200. Let's see what kind of brown this is. Excuse me. Oh man, my allergies are sort of acting up a bit. It's pretty dark. This is 200, but that's pretty dark. All right, so now let's take our gray granite and light gray granite. I want to add some gray to my pavement here. Okay, so now I have a nice sidewalk going, and I didn't cover it all. I'm just sort of very lightly doing it. That I'm not going all the way up to the house at all. There. Gray isn't bad. I do want one nice blue, I think blue, kind of a, let's keep our light gray granite out. And pull out, oh boy, do I have a light blue. The only thing that I have that's a very light blue is a retired Seaside spray. And I bought a bunch of these when they were retiring, so that I would have a nice light blue. Now, one thing you can do, if you don't have the luxury of having bought these when they were in stock, there are Copic pens you can buy of any color, but if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Take your blue that's a light blue that you like and let it run out. And then just add, before it's completely out of color, and don't let it dry out for heaven's sake. Then you can use some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, not rubbing alcohol, what is it? Well, if you look at one of my coloring things, I tell you, in fact, I think last week I brought it out and showed the alcohol thing. It's a special kind of alcohol for alcohol blending pens that you can get at the craft store, and you can just easily, I showed you how to open these up and stick that in, and you can water down your pens that way. I think I'm going to use this also to just demonstrate that these are actual windows here with some lines, just little lines on them. Window panes, not on every single one. Okay, I don't have to do this one too much since it's blue anyway, but there we go. I can see where I missed coloring my house in a couple of spots. Grab our ivory out, color that and that, and I'm going to use ivory here too, even though it's slightly different color. We'll just add ivory in to my peach. We'll add ivory there and there. This is going to be kind of a nice forgiving ivory to just kind of get everything colored. If you missed something, it'll color it all. And my garage doors, we are going to make them all gray. Okay, all of them. Just out of simplicity's sake here, they're all gonna be gray. Maybe they had an ordinance in the city that said they all had to be made from one company. I wouldn't be at all surprised in some of these beach towns. Your stairs are going to be gray. Okay, did I get them all? No. See what I mean about detail? My goodness, there's just so much. Little stovepipes. The only thing we are lacking here is a little bit of greenery. We want a real green and brown for the tree. And I'm not going to use a marker. I definitely want to use a pencil for the tree trunk, so I might as well just use the green that I've got in here for my little bushes and things with this. This is kind of a drab olive green. I'm sure this is old olive. And so I don't want all of that. We're going to just do a little bit of that. And then this one is Granny Apple Green. So we'll color the whole tree with that and these little bushes. Okay. There we go. No detail, you know, I'm not working hard on this. It's going to be in the background. If you want to do something different with a door, you could make some really cool colors with your door. A lot of people love to have, we had a friend who wanted a really bright, I think they did a bright orange door. But their house was much more understated than that yellow one that I'm doing. But sometimes that actually looks really cool, you know, a nice bright colored door. Where's my brown? I've got Cajun Craze, that's not quite right. There's early espresso for our little tree trunks. And I think we're about done here with this. Okay, you can go on and on and on, but let's not. Let's not, because I think if you wanted to, you could outline these windows and they'd look really cool that way. But we're going to save that. And I might do a card with this set. I don't know if I'm going to do a newsletter, with this set. I'm going to do cards, but I don't know if I'll actually show those cards in my newsletter. I try not to do ones that are too labor intensive because, you know, I can't, if I write out those instructions, you're gonna go to sleep. All right, so I'm gonna fussy cut those in a minute. Let's do instead of cutting this, no, I have to cut this out because it's gonna be in front. So think about what is in front and what is in the back. The house is going to be in the back, so we're going to just glue those on. But we definitely want this to be standing up above and beyond and towards. So it's bigger, of course, so that's why this is in front and not behind the houses. But that also means that I have to stamp and cut those out. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to stamp the little... This, I don't know if I'm gonna, do I have room? Yeah, I do. I have room for the beach ball. I have a surfboard already done, cut out and all that. We'll just use that one. The seagull's pretty good, but he's gonna mess up our depth of sky, I think. So I probably won't use him, but I do think I want to use that little sand castle too, so... We'll use the Coast Guard station and the sand castle. And we will just stamp those on white. Okay, so there's the little sand castle. And big ones I ink up this way. Okay. This, even though it's large, is very easy to color. And I want it to be not, you know, it's not going to be garish. Again, you want it to look like it's weather beaten. So we're going to be definitely using gray granite and seaside spray on that one. Okay, so light seaside spray. Let's see, we'll do that for the building. Is this light? Yes, it is. Okay, so light seaside spray. I guess I have to use the bullet tip. That's too fat otherwise. I like to use the brush end if I want it to be super light, because the bullet tip actually puts more ink out makes it a little bit darker. And so I kind of wanted the light one, but we're going to get with the dark because I kind of have to. We'll put Seaside Spray underneath the roof as well. And then I think what we're going to do is just use gray for most of this. Okay, so this is our light gray granite. Smoky Slate is pretty light also. I think gray granite is actually just a little bit of a lighter gray. Now, if you want a bright, sunny, happy, fun card, then you might want to do a bright color here, but I'm going to do something a bit more subdued today. Maybe it's the rain outside, even though it stopped. It's looking nice and dry out there now. Thought we were going to get a succession of storms. I'm not sure. You know, we have an outdoor, I think there's an outdoor drive-in theater somewhere here in Missouri. And how does that work with all the rain we get? I wonder. I don't know. Do you remember going to the outdoor theaters? Those are the windows. And we're going to want a yellow, I think, for the flag. Don't you think yellow would be good? Do our yellow. Light lemon lolly, that's going to stand out. Now I'm going to use some yellow on my sandy beach thing. And let's see how that works. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to take my number 300 and just dot my sand a bit. In the inside of the castle, and then take ivory, the brush tip part, and go over that. It's a bit on the light side. I'm going to add just a bit of this to it, just to get a bit more dark brown coloring into it. But I am using this ivory because it's really light. I think my pen's running out, so it's even lighter than it normally would be. But I'm using that number 200 to kind of, or 300 to blend it in with this ivory, so it makes it a little bit darker once you've kind of used it like that. Okay, let's do the sand. We're gonna judge our sand color. Is it pretty close? It's pretty close. Okay. All right. The other thing is that when this gets cut out with a die, it's gonna leave a little bit of a border. It's gonna leave a little bit of a border showing my sand. So I might actually want to take my ivory and just color that a bit, just so that where these borders show, it's gonna not be white. I don't want it to be startling white against my beach. There. Okay, I think that's it. Maybe here. Some of it's gonna go into the sky. We'll see about that after we've cut it out. All right, so now we're gonna cut that out. And see what it looks like. Oh yeah, that looks good. Now it didn't cut that out. I fussy cut those out. I don't like that, so we're gonna fussy cut that. I'm gonna have to do a little fussy cutting anyway, so it's not like a big deal. And we'll cut out my little sand castle, if I can get that scrap out. Man, it's like embedded into my plate. Oh, come on. Eesh. All right, there we go. That's what happens when you never replace your... Let me get my surfboard out and let's look at it. Yeah, it'll work. It might not be the color I want. There's this for your little, oh look, you can even do more of the gates. I mean, there's just, this has so many wonderful dyes. You can just go nuts with all the different cool things that are in it. The palm tree branch. So cute. So, oops, I put that on my my sponge. That was very foolish of me to do. All right, so now we're going to put this here and see how this looks. And then this is going to be over here. And then we're going to fussy cut these out. Have a look and see. See what we think. Sometimes I fussy cut leaving everything, and sometimes I just cut it off. If you're in a rush, you can cut everything off that's, you know, extraneous that you don't really have to have. That one is kind of like part of that roof. I kind of need that one, but I don't really need that one. Okay, so here we go. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice. I like it. Maybe we'll keep that one on this one, make it a little different. What's your favorite beach town? In my Southern Living catalog magazine, they have articles on beach towns a lot. Imagine that. So a lot of really cool southern beach towns. A lot of people go down to Florida. Freddie, are you telling me what are the best beach towns? And the Carolinas. Okay, so we can put some behind, some back. You can make it go all the way across if you want. But I do think that's going to look good. Look at your house. If you want it, that'd be fine, but it's sort of off into the distance, so we're not going to do it after all. Now, okay, for my sand, let's talk about our sand. You want to have some dots for your sand. So this is where you have to go digging into your stamp sets that you have, and hopefully you kept some. There is sand in this set, but it has shells. And I don't really want to deal with the shells in this case. So I'm going to grab an old stamp set. Oh no, I'm not going to grab an old stamp set. I forgot. I have, where is it? Where's the one I was just using? It has, my Seaside Wishes, that's it. So grab your Seaside Wishes. Seaside Wishes has this wonderful little sand stamp. Okay, we will get to this eventually. This is a really cool set. But right now, I am using this little C thing a bunch. So what I'm going to do first of all is take my beige, and we're going to check out beige and see what kind of an impression we get. Remember, it was kind of green. So I don't know that I really want a ton of beige. We're going to do some. Okay. But I don't want just that. So then I think we're going to do crumb cake, but I'm going to need to stamp off. So stamp off somewhere to get rid of some of that. Okay. Oops, that one's pretty dark. That'll have to be hidden by my house. I'm not going to show you how to do sand. You're going to have to come back to see how to do sand with embossing when I do Seaside Wishes. I'm sorry. I just don't have time to do that today. Okay, so come back. It's going to be, what is this? Is this June? It's going to be in July. I guarantee you it'll be in July sometime. Probably more towards the end of July. And then we'll do some sand when we do Seaside Wishes, because that one is such a beautiful set. Oh, I'm going to put some Pinterest cards on later on tomorrow, probably. And you're going to really like them. They are nice. All right, so now we've got this. Let's think about our sentiment. We're going to cover up that smudge. This is going to be fine because we're going to make this card shorter and not as wide. And we still have some need for something here. We've got a surfboard that's pretty large, so that's going to have to be stuck in here close to that. That's pretty good. We have enough room for a sentiment right here. And we're going to use our Beach Day one. I really like these. There's Happy Birthday, but there's this little Enjoy Today. That's going to fit right there. So we'll use that. Enjoy Today. This is the kind of card that I can send just for fun, you know, just for fun to make somebody's day happy. I really like these. Let's use Early Espresso. That's going to be a nice dark brown, and it'll show up really good. And I don't want it curved. Let's make sure it's straight. Perfect. This is such a cute set. You're going to really like it. Remember, Beach Day. Okay, it's $34 for the dies, $20 for the stamps. That's the stamp number. And I will just buy it now, and while it's still available. I assume it's still available. It won't be all summer, I'm sure. I mean, that's just the nature of things. So let's trim this. Ooh, that was loud. So we want to trim 1/4 inch off. I'm going to trim just a tiny bit there. And then we want this to be 5 1/4, maybe a little bigger than that. And then we want this to be 4. We'll take some of the sky off first. Okay, and then we want this to be 4 inches, maybe 4 1/8. That's about 4 1/8 right there. And then we need that piece of basic beige. I'm going to cut this 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then we're going to look at it and see if it's bright enough. Houses on, put this on, because I might need an edge that actually stands out. It's not really framing it well enough with just Beach Day. So the darkest, brightest colors that are predominant, blue, this blue, because this is just washing away this blue, the seaside. So balmy blue or yellow. If you want it to be a bright, sunny, happy card, do yellow. But I think I'm going to do balmy blue. And then that's going to just stand out a bit more. Otherwise, that border's just kind of hiding and not going to make it at all. I think I've got a scrap of Balmy Blue, I bet. Let's look. I always do. It's a color I use a ton of. So here is, I bet, a scrap of, oh, it's not wide enough. I don't have a big enough scrap, then I'll have to cut this one. It looks like. Let's see. Maybe I have one. Nope, I don't. I have used up my scraps. So let's grab another piece of Balmy Blue. Come on. Five and a half. By 4 1/4. And that should be better. Yep, it is. That is a bunch better. So cute. All right, so I hope you're having a beautiful summer. It's been a nice beginning of June for us. The weather's been perfect. It's get enough rain that I've not had to water for about 2 weeks. Every day, I think it's getting a little bit dry, and I might actually have to go. I have watered a pot or two here and there, but mostly God has been sending the rain. I love that. That's one of the reasons I wanted to move here, so that I wouldn't have to constantly be watering my yard. See how perfect that fits? I thought it would. So we're going to just glue that on because we want those to be back. And I kind of like that one on top, I think. Or maybe this one on top. You decide which one you like best and put that one above the other on one edge. Okay. Looks like I can slide it over just a little bit. Oh, no, I can't really. So we'll put it like this, like that. And so I'm not barely putting it right on top. There. Get that glue off my fingers. Now this we want to put dimensionals on. This we want dimensionals on. And the surfboard we want dimensionals on. I think I might recolor the blue. I don't really think I want a different blue than what's in there. And that one is a turquoisey one. I'm going to take one of my Balmy Blues. That's a dark one though. Might work. And we're gonna just add a bit of a darker blue to it, just so it's not quite such a stark difference to the ones that I have there on the house and in the background. All right, very good. Dimensionals. Oh yes, and then you can either color it. Yeah, I actually, no, I don't usually do that. I usually like to, have used my, X-Acto blade before, but you can also just get a start, you know, with your punch, and then just fussy cut this out. If you're driven nuts by that. Oops, I cut into the railing a little bit with my punch. Oh well, so be it. I kind of like having this out. You are going to have to cut your mini. The other thing about doing this is that you're going to have to use pieces of mini dimensionals once you've done this, because your dimensionals are going to be too fat for the railing now that you've fussy cut. I think it's worth it myself. Oops, I cut into my railing a little bit too. I mean my little chain link railing. Okay, if you don't want to do it all that, then you don't have to. You can color it to make it the same brown. I mean, it's just ivory, so it shouldn't be that hard to just use your ivory pen. And color that so it's just not quite so obvious that it's, you know, not been cut. All right, that's just me. All right, so use all of the larger dimensionals that you can. And then you'll have to cut some mini ones to get the rest. Oh, you're kind of fat there. I don't know. I think you're making it, though, barely. I've got a little piece of one right there. He stuck itself to the corner. There's even some backing on it. That is so funny. I hate that when that happens. I did finally break down and buy some more mini dimensionals. I had a bunch of black ones, but I did not have any white ones. For a while, I've been using these black ones. If you're careful about where you're putting them, then you probably only need to do a few without even maybe cutting them. Let's see. There we go. Like there. Oops. There. Right in the middle almost. There. I think this is going to hold it on pretty good. You could slice one in half and do them here and here. I'd probably better do that. There we go. That one's undone, that one's not. All right, oh my goodness, it's getting warm in my room. I'm gonna have to open the door because I don't hear the air conditioning going on, so it must have cooled off some outside. There's one more that I need for the flag. All right. There we go. Aren't you cute? Now you can move it all the way over if you want to. I mean, I might as well, right? Okay, we're going to go like that. And like that. And like that. Okay, now I hope that this was helpful in figuring out how to do backgrounds. Basically, all you need to do is think about what's in the back and work your way forward. And then just remember, you can always, see, I think I might lean you up against the thing there. You can always fussy cut out these foreground things if they're not too detailed. It's not that hard to do. It does take a little bit of time, but it is not at all hard to do. If your hands are a little bit shaky, then you're not going to want to do that. So you will want to always make sure that you are masking the foreground items. Just mask on this card where you want that. Stamp it again, mask it with your masking tape paper, and then stamp and sponge around it, peel it off. You've got your image. It doesn't give you this raised effect, but that's why we buy the dies, so that we don't have to fussy cut. And except for my little railing, that I decided to do, wasn't at all necessary. I just kind of liked doing that. If you're not wanting to do a lot of fussy cutting, you have got to break down and buy the dies. That is how you get these wonderful layered card effects with that. So anyhow, it is a red-faced day, so it must be warm in here. I feel pretty good, but I'll be glad to get that door open for sure. Thanks again for joining me so much. Like and share my video. I appreciate it very much. And on YouTube, you can subscribe. Just click the subscribe thing. That just means that you have subscribed to me, and that helps my business, and I appreciate it. I do that for everyone that I want to follow. And if you like what you see, then you follow them, and then you get to see all the videos just a little more easily. You can always find it, but if you're like me, you forget who it was that did that and this and whatnot. So when you subscribe and follow, then it's just easier to see those lists and save them. All right, I think that's it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you next week. Bye.